Damn It Zach show is folly, but it has worked a few times.
Well,
I
that's
gave
good
up.
because we're going to do it live on Twitch right now. Skeeter. Let's
All
make sure
right.
I've got everyone in the right position. I do. That's fantastic. Skeeter, I'm definitely do that. What everyone doesn't know off camera is every single time I set up my stream OBS and I have glorious guests like Skeeter and Zach Glazar with us, and I get everyone in position, which nowadays is actually going just fine. Um, I get a Nvidia driver issue when I go to stream, so I have to reboot my machine, which is why we're a couple of minutes late every single time this week. But we'll get it fixed, and Skeeter was helping me with that. So here we
Not
are.
really.
Listen, Faden maps, and we're working on the Lightharbor map for Noble Dwarf. We are so close to being done with this one. Today, in the next hour and a half, I basically want to get all of the ink work done, and I am going to do it with two of the best, coolest, nicest people on the planet. But they couldn't be here today, so instead, I have
Shit, we
Zach
gotta leave?
Glazer
Yeah,
and
who's coming?
Skeeterberg. Hi, guys. Happy Sunday.
Hi, gang. Happy Sunday. Yeah, is it Sunday? It must be. Alyssa is enjoying a mimosa, so
Yeah.
it must be sophisticated
Yeah. Skeeter had to
Sunday.
get out of his home churching.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. That I'm
I enjoy
happy.
a mimosa almost every day, Skeeter, if Jack will let me.
So that defaults to an everyday because what's Jack gonna do about it?
Well, I don't know because I work every day. I'm working remote. Jack is now part time, so Jack actually gets some days off during the week. So,
What?
yep, I'll know those days I'm allowed to have a mimosa, but on the other days I'm not. So,
I still
You're your own person, Lissa. Don't listen
be,
to him.
because we live north of Seattle, I am one of these days just going to drive to your house because I have mailed you stuff. I know what your address is.
you could turn up any time because honestly, I think when you saw the miniature collection, I think I think there would be some expletives that you would say. Everyone knows I'm a
Yeah.
miniature whore, but I think you would still, even then, go, "Holy shit!" Because I've got an obsession.
Oh yeah, we had not picked up on that at all. I would like to say in the chat, my good buddy the Grindhouse Gorilla, Levi Combs.
Hey, Levi! Levi is actually
Yeah.
going to be joining us on a future episode.
Oh, nice.
He's
Look.
hardcore, man. I don't know. The two of you are dangerous.
Oh yeah, no, that's ridiculous. He's my brother from another mother.
Well, that map's not complicated.
No,
No,
this
not at
is
all.
just a little thing that I knocked up over the last couple of days. Have you
Everyone
guys
in the map-
seen this? Have you? I mean, have you?
Yeah, I've seen it. You have to remember that one of your most regular viewers lives in my home, and like I yell at you all the time because I hear your voice. Between you and Kafir, your voices come through my house, and I'm like, no, tell Alyssa this. 'Cause I'll be working, and I'll hear you talking like that's not right.
So here's a question for you,
Hi.
Alyssa, that's semi-serious about mapping skills. Are these all just little blocks that you move around, or are you making each one of these buildings individually each time?
I make them all individually each time.
What is wrong with you? What is your deep-seated OCD uh, issue? Because that's just insane. I could not comprehend doing that.
Oh, dude, you look at this. I started get, and I agree. I've got problems, dude. I mean, I've got real problems. I started drawing little pub tables and stuff. Um, yeah, I've been
Yeah,
having a lot of fun with this one.
that's shithouse crazy.
Yeah, it is, and I can't tell you what it is. But somewhere along the line, I realized, no, this is what I do. So now I just embrace it, which has kind of made it worse. I think Twitch has made it worse too. Like drawing in front of people, I kind of like want to show off a little bit. So there's no cutting and copying. There's no none of that. Everything is just drawn by hand.
Do you think the Twitch has made you like better at it? I mean, I think that if I had to be on a performing in front of an audience, not that I do anything creative, but if I was performing my job in front of an audience, I think I would do much better all the time.
No, I think you're right. I
God
think you're
damn it,
right.
Zach, being all the evidence to the contrary.
It's not my job.
It's kind of your
It's my
job.
passion.
No,
It's
but if you had
promoting
to do your
yourself.
job in front of an audience, I think it
But we don't
would.
really feel like we have much of an audience. Our audience is people we talk in front of an audience of people we see at cons all the time that we really like. So it's
That's one of the psychological differences of doing what I think is doing a show and putting on a performance. Like Zach and I are like this 24/7.
yeah,
The
no, it's
the characters on Goddamn It Zach are actually us.
Yeah, I was going to say
yeah.
characters.
And I think
And we play
if
this on TV.
I think for people who take personas and go online and try and portray those personas, I think that's why sometimes their shows are hit or miss because it's not authentic. Because we have a lack of organization at the best of times. Zach is tons better than I am.
And
And
that should tell you all you need to know. Because
that
what's
yeah.
funny is we have guests come. So what are we gonna talk about? I don't know. It's like let's check the show notes.
Right. Right. People when people are getting set up and we're like, okay, what do you want to talk about and what don't you want to talk about? We're like, fuck, I don't know. What do you want to
I
talk
mean,
about?
the only thing that we really discuss in advance is that we care about talking about Kickstarters that are coming up for people who are making projects we like, and we pick people we have some people we like that do cool stuff that we're never gonna run out
Spoon
of
is
guests.
in.
Spoon is here.
Is
Yeah.
this real Spoon?
Is that you, Jacob?
I think it's real Spoon.
Nice.
He's the nicest person I know almost.
Hey, Blaine.
He gets so much crap from the two least nice people I know. Not one of them being Skeeter, the other being Ian. Just to make
Man.
it clear.
Man, that's savage.
Hey, since you have a live audience, there's someone in your eyes I want to give a message to.
Oh boy.
Okay.
Don't forget to cast a leg. Thank you.
The eagle has landed. The eagle has landed.
My wife was mad because today I wanted to have her cassoulet, and we looked the recipe up, and she's got to like stand up every 30 minutes and like break the cassoulet shell in the
I don't even know what that is.
cassoulet. It's a French food.
Yeah.
What is
Don't
it?
know.
It's like it's baked. It's like bean sausage, duck fat, and chicken, and it's like baked in an oven with gelatin, so it has gets like kind of a crust you got to break. I never had it. I went to France. Actually, I had it in Belgium, and it was the most delicious thing I'd had in continental Europe, and I've never had it since. And no one makes it because it takes forever and it's hard. So therefore, the out of work flight attendant, should have to do something useful.
Well, let's clarify that. Not out of work flight attendant.
Hey,
That's
Mr. Vance.
this
Down here, it seems like
currently grounded flight crew.
Well, this morning on YouTube, I woke up and there's a video about a flight attendant working from home, and I hate to say this, but some of it seemed pretty legit. It's like,
So for all the people out there who have been socially distancing, but they've been trapped in their homes with a significant other, a lot of crime shows talk about when people use bleach to clean up a crime scene. One of the things that they leave out is you have to also follow that up with a citrus cleaner to get rid of the smell of bleach.
How do you
That
know
is your-
this?
That
Okay.
is your PSA for the
How do you
day.
know
Okay.
this?
Stay out of prison, my friends.
I gotta be honest with you, Ski. Like, if and when I murder someone, I will be calling you to help
If?
me out. Yeah.
Well, there's no one else to call.
I have plastic bags and a digging device in my trunk at all times. I'm
And
not
he has
saying
actually-
why I have that.
I saw him working to build a home swimming pool that his then city said he couldn't build anymore. So I know he knows how to dig.
Yeah, that semi hole is still out there.
I was there, and then I heard when he did all the work and was told he couldn't do it. His reaction was like, I'm grateful for local government that keeps me safe. That's what he told me. He's like, Zach, if it wasn't for local government, I don't think we could fish properly. That's what he said when they told him he couldn't do it.
Did he? Did he
No,
now?
he actually said, "Fuck everybody, I hate everybody." He threw his thing in the air.
You remember that guy that got a bulldozer and completely like clad the thing in steel and stuff, and then he knocked down his local tax office? That's Skeeter.
Yeah.
That
Well, no.
Yeah, but the tax office is really too political for Skeeter. Skeeter would knock down the local Circle K because he had to wait
Yeah,
6 minutes for a
they
donut.
didn't carry the right rock star flavor.
Yeah, right. Hey, are you back on energy drinks, Skeeter?
It is the way.
were you off energy drinks for some reason?
Yeah, yeah.
It was terrible. It was like when Bill Webb quit smoking. It was awful.
For about 3 months, I quit doing
Why?
it, and well, so the actual reason why is I work for a large airplane manufacturer in the Pacific Northwest,
That narrows down.
and the last day before Christmas break, I was like the only person in the office, and I from 8 a.m. to noon, I drank 4 Rain energy drinks, and those are the ones that have 300 milligrams of caffeine in them, and I got really sick. So I stopped drinking them for about 3 months, and now I'm back. I don't know if you can get caffeine poisoning, but I think I was
I'm
close.
trying.
I think I was close.
Yeah, I was going to say what defines sick? Like type of sick or
Like I thought my stomach acids were gonna eat a hole through my back.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah, it was.
You went crazy.
Crazy,
It was.
Zach.
It was
Crazy,
on the. It was on the spectrum of kidney stones. It was. It was bad news.
Jen says that wine equals energy drinks.
That is like not energy drinks. Like you want to go to sleep.
It depends what you ask. You ever seen? Oh,
So
I don't know
now
what
I'm
you're
going to
about.
get back to the actual channel questions.
Okay, good.
So in addition to being a mapper and a painter, and all around Renaissance artiste, Alyssa is a miniatures painter, because on Facebook we have to look at all these ridiculous miniatures that she's
It just
painted
makes me angry.
that look right. So I have all of my paints and miniature setup in like a roll around tool chest, like a
Yeah, I gave up.
craftsman, that's sitting out in the living room. And I am a terrible painter.
So am I.
So do you have to have like an innate talent and then just practice, or can you just get by with practice? Because I get super fucking frustrated trying to paint stuff.
Well,
and
I'm
look
watching her make this
shit.
kick-ass map, drawing his little houses, talking to it at the same time after having
Yeah.
mimosa. I personally feel that if it's not innate talent, I don't have the ability. I don't have the hours in me to even begin to learn.
Yeah, I mean, do I need to just call it and give up and have people paint miniatures for me, or
I
what?
gotta be
did.
honest with you guys. You know, you see these memes on Facebook that talk about, you could do anything if you practice, or
Oh, that's bullshit.
to be a good artist is just practice, practice, practice. And it's kind of a play where I think the meme goes like, someone says, "Oh, you must be really talented to be that good. You must have some native talent or whatever." And like the meme, it basically goes, "No, it's just practice, practice, practice." I disagree with that, and I disagree with that in every sense with every artistic endeavor. I think that there are some people, including even in a sports sense, right, or in a mental sense, if we were talking like how intelligent someone is, or someone's capability with math, it doesn't matter anything to do with life. I think that there are certain human beings that have natural talent. Music being a prime example. It doesn't matter how
Yeah.
much I practice the violin, I am not gonna be world class. I know that because I'm not a musician. I don't
Food
have
pictures.
that native
Like
talent.
taking food pictures, you have to have a talent, just a skill for it.
There is a skill
Right.
for
Oh
it.
Jesus, whatever.
As a
capital A.
superpower goes, that's kind of. But no, I mean, to answer the question, I think that there is some native talent. Now, don't get me wrong, I think that there can be a good spoon of native talent and a damn good helping of practice, practice, practice. I'm in the practice camp. I don't know if I have that much native talent when it comes to painting, to be honest with you.
All evidence to the contrary
Yeah,
of what we're
we're
watching
gonna
on
go
your
ahead and
Twitch
let's have a vote.
stream.
All in favor of her having like natural talent, say aye.
Yeah,
Aye.
I'm gonna vote for
Nay,
that
the
one.
ayes have it.
Well, put it this way: have you seen that Olga woman from Russia that does the incredible freehand
I
on
thought you said
cloaks and
ogre.
Olga? No, not Olga. Yeah, the Olga from Russia. Well, you know what? It's probably the same thing, isn't it?
No,
Sorry,
I think I've
sorry.
seen it.
Wow.
I've seen her miniatures.
Right. I mean, I can't do that. I mean, but I could practice it. But I'm not sure I could ever be that. So it's almost like if 25% of it can, like, that range is just raw talent. She has 25%. I have maybe 10. I don't know. But I'll never beat her level.
Well, you know, it's
No matter
the
how much I painted.
economics, the law of diminishing returns. You could spend 10,000 hours doing that, and you could be very close. But how many hours you spend practicing a certain technique, at some point you're not going to get much better.
Right.
Well, maybe I just need to get a second job and pay for somebody to paint my miniatures. Then.
That is how I'm hoping to go with my life. And I did that, but I'm running out of space for miniatures, and that's
Right.
because I have 10,000 books in a flight simulator cockpit in my room. So I really have to watch myself. Plus, I have learned something from Facebook is that everybody who paints miniatures has 10,000 of them and paints like 7 a month. But they have 10,000 to select from, and they forget they have them. I know that Alyssa doesn't do that because Jack told me. Jack said to me, Jack goes, you really should buy her more miniatures. I'm like, I think I should. I should talk to Ron at Reaper and see what, we could get her
No, man,
7,000 more.
get those black market Russian miniatures that don't come assembled or with instructions, and Alyssa can just have a video of her trying to figure out how to put them together.
That is not the way.
That would be
That is not the
amazing.
way.
No one ever buys the black market stuff because that would just be incredibly inappropriate. I am not a fan of recasting. I don't like it, and I certainly don't like it when my husband gives me them for Christmas presents in a box, a bunch of parts.
Jack, that is not the way.
That's not the way.
I am
Not the
all
way, Jack.
about supporting small businesses like the black market.
I don't even know what you're talking about with black market.
I wonder if
Russian.
the black market could get a small business loan in our current environment.
So the black market Russian heroin is what you're talking about, right?
It wasn't, but
No, but
now
it is
I'm
now.
listening.
Everybody says that miniatures are basically heroin because all y'all spend about as much money on them, and it's about as good for you.
Yeah, but the problem with heroin is you tend to take a nap very close
You've
to
never
that.
seen me paint.
So yeah, you don't actually get anything done. Now meth on the other hand, holy shit. Okay, so speaking of meth, this is
What
something
the
I gotta
hell?
talk about.
Whoa, hey,
What the
hey.
hell?
So
How's that
all of the people who are trapped in their houses and are watching Tiger King on
Jesus
Netflix.
Christ.
Okay, so if you have watched that, I saw in
I
a
will
chat.
never watch that.
I think it was the Grindhouse Gorilla Levi Combs that tipped me off to this. The Wild and Wonderful Whites
Yes, Moon.
of West Virginia. You've got to watch that. That is like half of my family in Western Tennessee and Northern Mississippi. These people are the dregs of society, and it is wonderful
No,
to
that would
watch
annoy
their
me, man.
antics.
No, the dregs
Oh,
When you
annoy
say
me. I
Tiger
get
King, I think
angry.
of tanks. I think of
The-
tanks when you say Tiger King, man.
The entire time that I'm watching this show, I'm like, why didn't somebody walk up to this entire family, Old West style, and just pop a cap in their ass?
Well,
And then 45 minutes into the show, two of these fucking people did it. This kid shot a guy in the face twice and once in the neck, and he lived.
Wait, this was on camera?
No, they didn't show him shooting him on camera. They show the kid who is in prison, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I know about the judge. It's gonna be fine. I'm not gonna get in much trouble." He got 52 years. But yeah, that's my segue. Let's get back to mapping.
Yeah,
I
segue
still
into
laugh because
what?
honestly, when you talk about Tiger King and Alyssa's channel, I'm still waiting for having the 88 in the front. So
Yeah, no, that's because
Yeah, see, now that is a show I would watch. A
Yeah,
show
see,
about
no,
tank
honestly-
restoration? Or a show about a guy rampaging in a tank? Yeah, no, that's
Well,
entertaining. Dregs of
I saw-
Society, no.
I saw a meme one time, and I know it's terrible, but it compared having a king tiger to a girlfriend, and one of the things is like has a has a something that has an 88, but one of them was is high maintenance. I was like, Ha 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 ha. But
Yeah.
there you go. But we're not going to talk about German tanks anymore. We're going to talk about mapping, right,
You
Steve?
could talk about German tanks.
Well, I have to talk to Bill Webb about 4 times a week, so I have to keep that to minimum.
Can you imagine if the Romans had tanks?
There was going to be a movie about that. I saw that there.
No, I just want to rope Alyssa back into some Roman talk here.
I know. Well, I know. No, but this will do it because someone bought a script that somebody had written about how the first infantry division winds up in Rome, and they have no gas or anything. I mean, they have no new replenishments, but they have everything they have when they show up. I want to see that movie because the Romans are going to kick their asses. The second they're out of gas, it's all over. Trebuchets still work on body armor.
Yeah, I think I saw that hypothetical. I would watch that. I would watch that.
Really? You would?
Yeah, I would. I would watch that.
Wow.
There was some
don't-
discussion that, I mean, let's face it, if you were in the first division, if you were the commander of the first division, you'd probably know that you've got some logistical supply issues immediately. You've got some maintenance issues immediately.
When your batteries go dead on your walkie-talkies.
Right, right.
you charge
If you
gas?
were a smart guy, you'd plan for that. You'd become a king almost overnight. You'd hardly spend a bullet other than to prove that you're a bloody wizard and can kill someone from like 300 yards away. And hopefully they'd never be challenged again, because any single time someone challenged you, you're like, shoot him,
Yeah, I mean that's the
I'm
kind
sure
of
Skeeter,
maneuver
you've been
you only have
challenged
to
to
do
a fight.
once.
You've
What?
been challenged to a fight, Skeeter,
By who?
by Phantom Jen.
Oh, you have
I'm
to
not
do.
going to do that.
There you go. There you go. That's my Skeeter book.
That's my sis. I'm not going to do that.
Dude, I recommend you do what she says. Take it from me.
I'm also not going to do that. So, I mean,
What
We-
are you going to do, Skeeter Green?
these
What are you
these are
gonna do?
these are binary. I don't know. Let's roll a dice. Do we
That's
have
the truth.
a
I
chart?
don't know.
Oh shit. We should get the chart out of Levi's book. No, I can't. It's not close. It's over there behind the
You
wall.
can walk off camera. That's fine. That's what
walking
all
off
of the
camera.
professionals do.
No, I'm not going to do that. What do you so who is this map for?
Oh, this map is for Noble Dwarf. They're the guys that do my canvas prints.
Yeah.
And so they do prints. I map for them, and yeah, they're gonna. I mean, this thing is like I've said on the Twitch stream earlier on that basically once a year I'll do something kind of retarded. This is it. This is the year. This is a 2020 retarded map. It's going to be fully coloured. It's going to be ridiculous. Well, these guys print at like 50 inches across. So it's going to be this glorious bloody tapestry.
I want to buy one. So
It's going to be incredible. I know it will be. And I don't mean that in a big-headed way. This will look beautiful. It really will.
Yeah, whatever.
it doesn't
No,
look that
I-
detailed, Alyssa. Honestly, I think there should be fish in the water. I'm not seeing fish. You seeing fish, Skeeter?
There'll be fish. We'll put a shark or something out there, I think.
There needs to be like one of those Chinese fish. Like
Yeah,
they
koi.
have the coiled dragons at the bottom of real maps. So you should do something like that.
A coiled dragon in the water.
Oh, a fish. Like those big mouth Chinese fishes?
Koi.
No, the big ones.
All right.
Oh, I know what you mean.
All right, we'll do it. We'll do it. But this is they're apparently going to do that. This is going to have a 5e setting. It's got a full write up and everything. I think they've got a lot of it written already.
So-
the
so
plan is
it'll-
going to Kickstarter. I don't know.
It'll slowly dawn on people that I actually gave Alyssa advice on a map, and everybody will kind of collectively go, "Shut the fuck up."
What is a heist, Alyssa?
Oh, everyone has a channel currency, and that's where they play games. So they could duel each other, and the winner gets channel currency. The heist is random. If you win on that, it basically is a raid on a barbarian village, and if you win, you get your money back doubled. So it's just channel games. There's an arena too where everyone just fights, and there's one person that walks out. There's a boss fight. People fight Claudius or Caesar. And then it's like if you win, you get channel currency. Then you can use the channel currency for things.
I'm old.
I didn't follow that at
So,
all.
What you're going to see is in a moment the heist results will come in, and so Jack just bet 100 gold. Big Spoon just bet 250. Jen, your darling wife, just bet 50. Plunder there, hey Plunder, haven't seen you in a while, just bet 100. Um, and then what we'll see is after a couple of minutes, the heist will actually happen. Anyone that's throwing in a heist bet.
Skeeter, you
Um,
call this gentleman.
Yeah, I'm totally lost.
no, no,
I'm
no, no, no.
confused.
I'm not sure. Oh, maybe he was talking to you, but I thought he was talking to the crowd, not you two.
Well, I know it wasn't us because I said gentleman. So, Alyssa, you should be pleased to know. The only thing I could figure out was how to gift Skeeter a subscription because I saw he didn't have one, so I gave him one. That's all I could figure out.
Oh,
Yay!
thank you for giving Skeeter a subscription. Skeeter,
Yes, thank you.
thank you for being
It was
subscribed.
embarrassing me he didn't have one. I was embarrassed.
I that is not the first time I've suffered the pain of someone's embarrassment at my expense. It happens
Box
more
office
often than
Jack
you'd imagine.
wins. Box office Jack wins, and he's not even like willing to be live on the stream. That
Yay!
He was live on Monday. You probably heard him in
I
Game
did.
Geek.
So, Alyssa, a map like this, and I did get your GaryCon map. I bought that and had it sent, and it arrived. That's
Thank
why
you.
I was gonna
Thank
drive
you.
down and have you sign it.
I'll sign it. Yeah.
How many hours do you put into a map like this?
This one.
Sure.
What episode are we on? All right. So this one is probably going to be an 80 to 100 hour map. I think by the time it's colored, I think it's going to be 100 hours. Typically 40 to 60 seems to be about right. 60-hour mark, fully colored. And then you've got the extreme Teagle Manor, of course, for Frogguard, where it was like 350. But around the 60 hours is typical. This one
That-
is going to be 100.
that's when you started streaming with Teagle, wasn't it?
Yes.
Because you
Yes.
had to have something to make you not go insane while you're working on it.
Oh, come on. It was like, honestly, streaming Teagle and doing it for like the summer of Teagle, where I was streaming every day, all day. I think someone even mentioned, like, Alicia should stream for 10 hours straight. Well, I did back then, last year. There's a week or two where I just did nothing but Teagle. And it was
Oh, no,
great.
we had a vacation. I remember.
Yeah, I took vacation time for that.
So
That's a highlight of my life right there, and I mean that. It was a lot of fun.
how much? So I mean, you were streaming for 10 hours. How much time at a sitting do you typically give to a map, or does it just depend on how you're feeling?
Partly how I'm feeling. I've actually got a lot more regimented nowadays, Skeet, because I used to just like I'm not streaming, right? So I could sit down when I want, I could get up when I want, and then I would typically do 2 to 4 hours in a sitting. Nowadays, because I'm Twitch streaming it, I've actually been a lot more regimented. I'm going to go for about an hour and a half. And on weekends, I tend to go a little bit longer, but I don't want to have you guys on here for like 3 hours, so I started early. So I'll be probably working on this map for, let's say, 3 or 4 hours today. So around the 2 hour mark, typically. Pretty much on the button.
Nice.
Well, I think
Yeah.
actually, I was talking to he who won't be named from Cave Geek Channel, and he was saying that he thought that also improved his just his discipline.
Yes.
But
Yes.
I mean, it seems to me like it's also improving your social life because it can get lonely in front of a computer if all you do is something very specific, and especially when nobody understands it. But this is like a party atmosphere watching you work. Can you believe in your lifetime that fantasy cartography has fans in an audience, including like Jennifer Brew Glazer, who had no idea what fantasy cartography was 6 years ago, is now in the audience dueling people that turn her down because they're afraid of her.
Yeah, it's crazy what has happened just in general for role playing games, and now that we're quarantined, it's just like a distillation of anybody who's in front of a computer anyway is now trying to stream something. And I mean, 66% of the people in this particular chat are trying to build a YouTube channel. So
Here's the best part of it is that I think one of the joys of this is, well, for instance, like my mom is going to play her first D&D game streaming this week.
Your mom.
I know, isn't that crazy? No, but like I think that people also realize that there's more YouTube success in the world than there is just being PewDiePie. You know,
Yeah.
if you have a loyal fan base of 40, 50 people, you like to do something fun, YouTube is really can be for you. You're not. I don't think monetization did YouTube a lot of good for quality content. I think it made a lot of the same content trying to do it over and over again in a certain model.
Right.
I think fun content usually is usually not monetized, and I think that you'll see a lot more of that because people look. If webcams are so expensive, they cost more than drugs now. When webcams cost more than drugs, you know that there's going to be an explosion of something happening soon.
I'm pretty sure there's going to be a lot of porn channels that come up now.
I didn't want to bring that up, but I'm pretty sure that is.
I have no
And it
fear
won't
of
be
bringing
me
that up.
or Phantom Jen or what she wants.
Nope, not going to be in this household. That's for sure.
Jack.
Now, if Jack decides to put on his own like
I saw that
Chippendale
unicorn picture.
service, that would be all right.
Did you see
I saw
that
the
video
unicorn
that he
costume.
posted of the guy that had like
Yes.
the comforter like thrown over his shoulder? Yeah,
Yes.
that's the Jack channel right there. I
Yeah,
would
we-
subscribe to that.
Yeah,
I would actually
mean,
subscribe to that too.
I would subscribe. Sure.
I think a lot
Why
of
not?
people would.
You know, here's the thing here's what I love most about Jack. Jack is quite literally, probably the nicest guy I've ever met. So projecting onto Jack some sort of weird like tick or some sort of like odd thing we all do because we want him to have a flaw. We're having a hard time finding a public flaw in Jack, and that kind of bothers us with the rest of us that have public flaws. Isn't that fucking right, Skeeter?
I think somehow I was gifted with all of Jack's flaws as well as my own and like 6 other people's. I am the flaw magnet.
No, you're not a flaw magnet. You're more of I think if you're like a flaw black hole. Flaws come around you and they hit the event horizon and they just can't escape.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, I mean that works if we want to get all sciencey up in this bitch.
Well, I told Steven Radley McFarland, he's saying how he thought we peaked stupid. I'm like, yeah, stupid's pretty much entered the event horizon. It's not leaving.
Yeah.
Did you see,
Bro.
did you see what Grindhouse just did? Map for Faps. Map
Yeah.
for Faps.
Yeah, I mean we could do that. Yeah, Alyssa's got some maps going on here. Well, that's the
I'm not
the
gonna do a
thing.
Jack on the fridge walk. This is crap.
That's the thing about Levi. He's great at marketing, and his social media presence is on point. Planet X Games, craziness. You're actually
If
gonna
he didn't
have.
if he didn't write such good games,
Yeah,
I would say he should be selling himself to smaller companies as their person for social media because he is cool stuff that from companies that I own just fly across the screen. I'm like, oh, that's awesome. I'd buy that. No way, I own that.
yeah, yeah,
Like not in the sense it's on my shelf. Like I own it.
yeah. I think
And I still want to buy it from Levi. So
for the people who are in the chat, I think that Yehu is going to be your guest next week, isn't he?
He is. He
He
is.
is.
he was on
I
Goddamn
can't
It, Zach,
wait.
but that's not really a quality show like this one we're on right now.
No, goddamn it, Zach is a cesspool. It's a den of iniquity.
Hive of scum and villainy.
Yeah, but I love what you
could be-
guys
could be
do. I love
villainy,
the fact
Peter,
that
I'll be scum.
the latest things that have come in. You do this unboxing stuff. Then you talk about the Kickstarters that are out there. It's brilliant. It only takes a nosedive when Tullis joins, but otherwise it's a
He
flawless
won't.
channel.
He
It's fun.
joins the chat, but he won't join the show because I don't know if he didn't have decency, so it's not that that's keeping him out. He doesn't have any shame, so it's not that that's keeping him out. I don't know what's keeping him out. No, I actually.
Total lack of respect for the two hosts. I'm pretty sure that's up at the top.
Well, I think that so I'm just going to talk out loud here with Skeeter, like brainstorming. One of the things I think we should do again, Skeeter, is for the unboxing ones live, and then I really am enjoying doing the actual interviews without the studio audience, throwing shade, because I thought that Greg Gillespie and Farndon were like really interesting interviews with cool
Yeah.
people that didn't have to be over the top, ridiculous. But I missed the unboxing ones because one of my most cherished memories is the moose from Moral project.
That was amazing.
Moose
So-
attacking the tank.
So I was going to talk to you about that. I got confirmation from two people that is probably just going to be content that we'll record whenever they can do it.
Sure.
Goddammit, Zach's guest next week, I believe, is one Jeffrey Talanian
That hack.
of Astonishing Swordsman and Too Many Words in the
You know,
Title
that's-
games.
I think that's what we should title the video too, because honestly, that is the only. And I love the title, but it's like kind of saying, you know, how many woodchucks wood, whatever.
Yeah,
woodchuck wood. Staunch stores and stores of Hyperborea.
one of the best things about Jeff Talanian is like the first 5 years that I met him at North Texas, I would always go up and introduce myself to him because I forgot the previous 4 years because that's when I was drinking. So yeah, and he was very sweet. He always says, "Yeah, we met last year, Skeet. Yeah, we met last year, Skeet. Yeah, we met last year, Skeet, and the previous 3 years before that." So
Talanian is the one who he punked me, man, because I
he pimped you out.
Stick with the
Well,
pimp.
Haven't we all done that?
No, I was at Reason Whisper Venom had a box set was because Talanian told me how, right? And so I'm doing Death and Taxes, and I have 40 box sets from the living room floor while Joe's at work, and I'm putting all 40 together. And it takes 10 hours. And I'm sitting there, I'm watching Mythwits, with Talanian's on it, on my big screen TV. And Jeff Talanian's head's the size of, like, you know, like literally a person almost. And he's saying, I would never do box sets. That's a pain in the ass. And I'm doing all these box sets on his reputation. I look up, I'm like, you know what, Jeff Talanian? I have a message for you.
So one of the things that we were able to do for the virtual GaryCon is Zach and I do Skeeter Green Takes on Small Publishing. And it's a seminar where we try to tell people, hey, these are some of the things that we've learned.
Hey, you can do it.
I would love to have Alyssa on as part of that to do like mapping and art.
Yes.
So people who are cartographers or are artists trying to get into RPGs, she could give them some tips or some information that she has learned over the years. And she seems like she's ignoring me asking this, but
We should make like the
I'll be-
NPC of
I'll be more clear that I'm actually fucking asking you a question right now. Yeah. Okay. Zach, we have taken over the show.
Oh, wait a minute.
It's our show
I'm
now.
watching her draw she's drawing little houses that people that kicked outside the city walls, like, you know, the people like you, Skeeter. Your house is outside the wall there.
Yeah, there's my shanty.
It is.
I know, I'm looking-
Oh, you know what? We're gonna do Skeeter Shanty. We're gonna do.
Yeah, oh,
Skeeter
yes,
Shanty.
Shanty.
Oh,
Can I
yeah,
describe it?
please.
Can it have like one wing of it kind of collapsed, and then a dead body out front?
Done.
Yeah, I mean, should it be on fire? I feel like it would be on
I
fire.
feel like
at
we're
some
on fire
point.
too.
All right, we're
Oh
doing it.
boy.
So,
Hey, look at me.
Make sure it's far out, and make sure it really is a true shanty.
Nice. It needs to be done in non-Euclidean geometry.
Yeah.
Oh shit, it is.
It is.
That's awesome. Oh man.
Make sure there's a pit in the backyard too, like a plague pit.
Hey, man.
Well, it's a half-done swimming pool.
Well, when it's
oh
yes,
yes.
when it's observed from the top, it's more like a sinkhole. Wow.
Put a shovel next to it like he didn't use it.
I'm not sure the people who are paying for this map are going to appreciate this, but
No, I
hey,
love it.
what can you do?
This is what makes it fun for her on Twitch, though.
I would have to
That's
say
how I found a banana yellow surfboard in Teagle Manor. That was the only thing I had to go, you know, this one we're probably going to keep off.
Yeah, that one you made me remove. Brian McWhirter, who's in the chat, actually drew that surfboard too. That is going to get
Sorry about
onto
that,
another
Brian.
map.
I was very appreciative to have an Easter egg in the Teagle Manor.
Oh, dude,
map.
actually,
I have a couple, I think.
Well, I had the worst one.
No,
With my
you've got
body
the best
doing the
one,
Pathfinder
Zach.
book.
You've got the best one.
Yeah.
You've got actually, Zach. you and Skeeter have actually been in not only Teagle Manor, and Zach, you were in Teagle Manor at least twice. Jen was in Teagle Manor as well. But both of you and Skeeter, you're also on the Gary Con guide map.
Oh.
Oh Lord.
Yep. Skeeter,
Yeah.
there
You
is
know,
a.
that's the game hole map, huh, Skeeter?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to find that.
You should tell Alex Cameron he needs to hire you for the game hole map because honestly, I think you should be doing it for all the cons. I think that
I
would be
would
a
love
hell
to
of
do
a
it for
legacy.
all of the cons. When I was doing the Gary Con one, I was like, I'm going to do this every year if Luke will have me do it. This is so much fun. I would just do that. It was so much of a blast.
What's so awesome about it is it really makes the con more fun because the maps they provide you with suck it up. They're bad. That was
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, they're not the easiest to maneuver, but yeah. And it may be just because we're used to looking at a certain type of map, but the Gary Con map is fantastic. It just really is. Because once you get to the Gary Con site, the hotel, it is a vortex. It's
Oh,
like
yeah.
being in a TARDIS anytime you're outside of the main single
And try
building.
to find your hotel room if you're in Wing 5, Level 3. 5302.
Especially
Yeah.
when you're walking along level 2 and it just ends. It just ends.
Right.
Well, I love it. The handicap room has to be, there's one elevator. There's
Yeah.
like 6 wings. It honestly, like the Temple of Elemental Evil, kind of grows out.
I mean,
Yeah,
I was there for like 4 days and I still couldn't get back to my hotel room. Jack had to
Yeah.
lead every time. I was lost.
Yeah, no, it's ridiculous. And back when I was drinking, it was just like, okay, I'm gonna go a direction, and fuck it, we'll see where I end up.
We're not going to tell those stories, though. You were off site one time, so I was
Yeah.
worried.
Yeah, that was
See
not
where
good,
I end
but-
up and you're not even in the hotel, huh?
Yeah, no, no, that was the sleeping in the car episode.
Oh, wow,
It was
okay.
7 degrees outside. I was like, oh, man.
I
So-
was just happy it was actually my rental car.
I felt the same way, actually.
Yeah.
But here's the best part, Skeeter. What I love about you now is you'll go to bed at 10 o'clock at a con like a reasonable response person. He'll get up and exercise. I'm like, I admire
Yeah.
this man. I can't.
So
it's hard to say
so
that.
that's the funny thing is everybody's a night owl at gaming conventions, but I have found a few like-minded souls that just go to sleep early, and then we're the only ones getting up at like 5 a.m. I go do a workout. We can calmly ease into the day, get some breakfast, have a coffee, relax, chat even,
Adulting.
and then just fucking chaos pours in at
Yeah.
like 8 o'clock when
I think
the fucking
Or
zombies
is
start
really,
waking
really
up.
way too organized for what happens. It's more of like kind of a mob kind of bounce it is.
Hey,
It's kind of like
man.
it's more like a landslide than a waterfall.
Yeah, no, I really enjoy it because I enjoy the people at conventions. I really do. I get to have stories and talk to people that I don't normally talk to. But sometimes when I'm fucking done with people, I'm done. And I go back to my hotel room and I just stay there for an hour and then I come back out and socialize again.
I found the best thing that I've done since last year with conventions was when I bought that Oculus Quest. I'm able to exercise in the hotel room in midday or something, whatever.
Yeah.
Usually midday is my low point. To get that re-energized.
Is that why I can never find you when I need to get a question answered?
Well, just because it's you, I actually have
Oh.
people telling people if you see Skeeter asks for me, send him across the way.
Oh,
Down there at the end.
it's
And I'll be in
working.
my room. I'll be in my room dancing to "It's Raining Men" inside a Beat Saber, kicking the ass out of it, man.
Nice.
Hey, man, that's a hard song, and I beat it. I beat that, and I beat the Williams Overture. I'm a hero now. And the Moonlight.
You are the hero we didn't know we wanted.
No, you don't want to know you want me, but I'm awesome at it now. But honestly, I can get an hour of exercise now when I go places, and I feel so much better exercising at a convention than I ever did. And actually part of that wanted me to bring that was when I saw you go at GaryCon, the time that you attacked Mike Battleotto and Eric Tenkar, like sexually.
Yes.
That you were coming back from exercising. I thought that was so
Yeah.
cool. You exercised.
No, that was a full on assault at like 7 a.m.
Yeah, I know,
I mean,
and-
I was feeling good. I was getting my tasks
you
done
had your
early.
game on.
Yeah. No, but honestly, the Gary Con Hotel, the Grand Geneva, has one of the best gyms in a satellite building that I have ever seen in my life. That place is fantastic. It is wonderful. And by God, I'm coming back in 2021. I'm making a lame, half hearted attempt to be cool, and I'm going to be at the convention next year, assuming there's not another pandemic.
Um, I don't like to make assumptions anymore, but I'll tell you this: virtual GaryCon came out so much better than I expected. I got to talk to people on Zoom that I genuinely like. Like right now, what we're doing now, like now that Alyssa started adding guests to her stream, I get to hang out more with people I know than I have in ages. And I'm seeing
Yeah.
people like Luke had a get together, just invited everybody who wanted to come to Zoom to come on in, and I didn't go in, but Pex, bless his heart, did. And Pex watched it and was there, and he was impressed. And I think that people are learning that these tools aren't just for, you know, okay, I want you to go down to this server, and I want you to move it from here to here, and we're going to go ahead and migrate this server for the load balance. No, it's for human interaction that you can have legit human interaction stuff online now in a way you couldn't. There are
Well,
a
yeah.
few.
How cool was it that we got to talk to Heath
Yeah,
Farndon
no,
in Australia?
an essential worker.
Yeah,
Liquor
liquor
store
store,
manager there is essential, and I think it's awesome.
because
I love
Australia.
Australia.
Yeah. But no, that I mean exactly what you're talking about. That was great. I, at best, the amount of times I would ever get to see Heath is maybe once a year at
Maybe.
at a convention if he's able to make it. But yeah, I mean, and the whole GaryCon thing happened in like a week
Yeah.
through the heroic efforts of Luke and
Casey,
Caroline
Casey Rift.
and
Casey
Casey
Rift and
Rift.
crew, yeah.
The Wizards of the Couch did a monumental effort, got me set up, got you set up.
Pex from Frog God, he set up 14 or so games and had them all organized for our
Yeah.
Discord server. And he wasn't the most active dude, but he was a hero for this. Bill Webb ran a game online. Bill Webb, he can't find his keys. He doesn't know how to use a cell phone. I mean, this is legit. Am I lying?
Was the view of his game up his nose
No,
like it
actually,
is
it was
in
not at all.
every game?
No,
Okay.
dude, he had it all set perfectly. He ran a Zoom game every 11. That's the one my mom's in this week because
Oh,
that
boy.
game continued. They're
Awesome.
continuing the game.
You see, and that's really cool because it actually I don't think that this is going to go away now.
I
You
don't
know,
either.
this I think was an evolutionary step for a lot of people. It was an aha moment, myself included. I've decided I'm going to run Call of Cthulhu games virtually. You know, so not
I
just
want to be in that game.
You're in, of course you're in. But I'm gonna do it because I've seen the tools. It can do it. It can support it, and I'm
And you
actually
can-
excited
thing
for it now.
You don't need to really be super familiar with Fantasy Grounds to run it on Zoom with just like you run a game at home, especially when you're familiar with the group. But I know that Frog God, we're going to host some online games with fans and with some special stuff like books that are only available online. And we're doing Necromancer games too. Skeeter and I talk about this, and we think we're going to do Call of Cthulhu stuff for that as we come close to launching our line of that. So I think that your Call of Cthulhu game would fit in very well there, Alyssa.
That's actually a really cool idea. I like that. Actually,
No,
if I could in publicly extend myself to assist in such a capacity, I would actually.
You were
love
already
to do
volunteered,
that.
you just didn't know it yet.
Well, yeah,
I'm down.
I don't know if I'm supposed to mention it, so I'm going
Go ahead and
to
mention it anyway.
Necromancer Games is going to put out Call of Cthulhu material, and Alyssa Fadden is going to be an author, penning some scenarios.
I am going to pen manship.
I actually want to
For,
hire Kafir to do a couple of really unique maps, like not complicated but interesting. So I think you could make, depending on the story goes, is where we're kind of hiring tomorrow. But I think that would be. There's so.
Oh yeah, when the investigators find a map to a location that
has
has
to be on
been
buckskin.
drawn
Yeah.
on human skin,
There you
hell
go.
yes,
There you go. Yeah.
that would be fantastic.
And then he'll be my cartographer, so he'll be my little bitch. That'd be
Oh
awesome.
man!
Oh wow,
Wouldn't that be awesome?
that turns savage.
You know what? Hey, Alyssa, will you be the head as president of Necromancer Games? I would like to extend the office. Will you be the head of the cartography department? So any other cartographer we have, basically, which would be you and Kafir. Will you please make sure you're in charge of those? I mean, they have to report back to you. And for example, if somebody named Kafir was to, I don't know, say something bad about you on a stream, that'd be insubordination. Will you say so?
I. This is maybe the proudest moment of my life right now. Of course I will do it.
All right.
I don't
Congratulations,
do
you're
it
now
for
in
no
charge of
pay,
Colorado
just so I can
Games.
lord it.
No, I'm serious. You're now in charge of Tarver Never Games. This is awesome. I
Right
learned
on.
this trick from Matt
Right on.
Finch. You push off your jobs on people, make it sound fun, and then you never do them again.
I am very much down with this. This is maybe the best stream I've ever done.
I
Well, of course
kind
it
of
is. We're on
feel
it.
I kind of feel bad that the minute that Zach said he was the president of Necromancer Games, I instantly went into coup mode. And I was like, how can I screw this up for him?
Yeah,
I'm
by being
sorry.
you.
It's just a natural response.
Now I do have to address this question though. And Zach, it was from your darling wife. She asked how our Roll20 game went yesterday. So it's kind of
Okay.
topical, right?
Say it.
It was okay.
Oh, wow.
Like we
Overwhelming.
ended the evening, like all of us saying this could work, but it was like 3 hours of technical problems, you know. And I'm not talking about someone getting disconnected or the internet going down. That shit happens.
Figuring it out. The rules.
Like just figuring it out. So we're playing Curse of Strahd. So we've got a GM running Curse of Strahd. Good friend of mine. I've known him forever. And he bought it. Like he went in. He's got Roll20 Pro. He bought the Strahd package. So all of the maps and everything are done. Nothing but technical problems. We can't see our own tokens. We can't move our tokens. The fog of war, like, is just covering everything. You know, well, there is no fog of war. Though the lighting isn't working. There was a lot of that.
I am not one to jump in and talk about subjects that I don't know anything about. Just gonna let that sit there for a minute while everybody regains their composure. I think some of that is just because so many people are jumping into Roll20 right now. It may have just overloaded their servers, if that's how that even works. Or
No.
Roll20 is just meh.
No, Roll20 is a system where if you are vaguely familiar with the concept and you understand how the layers on it work, and you have a group willing to spend 20 minutes figuring out, you can run a very simple game on it. But without that, we're actually, no one, none of you in the stream will say anything, will you? No, we're actually talking about working on with somebody on making a overlay that works for Zoom. That's a very simple map overlay that would have fog of war and tokens, and that's it.
Really?
And we'll just see how viable it is. But we think that you could, using that, you could then move to Roll20. We don't want to make it like Frog makes a VTT. We want to make it so, hey, we want people online playing games.
Right.
And then once you have used it and familiar with the concept, then go out and play with the giant tools available to everybody. But, you know, we're just looking to do something interesting. We have a potential chance to do it. So, but it might be really, really hard. Like, you know, we have a developer who's talked to us a little bit and everything else, but we think the future is here. It's just the tools that exist are for people who are at this level. And most people who are smart, and most people that play our games are smart, not all, Skeeter will tell you that, are here. And it isn't because they're dumb. It's because they usually don't have the time to learn new tools all the time, and they change consistently. And I think that having a simpler way in, like a Zoom tool or whatever, would make it easier. And we'll see. But regardless, with Bill's game, everybody in that game, I dropped in his game he had on Saturday for Virtual GaryCon and watched everybody. Everybody's having a great time. It's just like being at his game, except that he looked better. He didn't look as rough. He sat in his chair. But everybody participated. Everybody laughed. Everybody was laughing when I walked in. And you know what? You can run a game on Skype, on Zoom, on whatever, and so long as you have the buy-in from the group of what level of tools you think are necessary. Like if you play 5e, you play it very technically, it does help to have fantasy grounds. If you play Swords of Wizardry, you use 2 dice and don't even know the rules. Zoom is awesome.
Right. Well, and that's the thing. You can use Zoom right now if you do Theater of the Mind and have people roll dice on their desktop. That's all you need. I mean, I'm in a Discord game every once in a while that we just use the voice feature, and everybody rolls their dice and holds on, does everything on their desktop. And if there's something that needs to be seen, there's a little chat window that you can throw an image in. So
And Zoom, of course, has the whole shared desktop too.
right.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
could
so
see
you
that.
can do that. I mean, I'm still waiting to do one of these Zoom webinars where the porn comes flying in and the whole stream gets hijacked. I mean, what? I'm not good enough for your
Coming.
hijacking?
Hold on. No.
Oh boy.
Right. I'm actually going to step away real quick. I'll be about 3 minutes,
All
okay?
right, yep.
Don't talk about me, Skeeter. I can hear you.
I am totally going to talk bad about. No, I'm actually going to try and dial this back to Alyssa's channel since this is what the whole stream is supposed to be about. We should talk about the map more.
Well, that's very kind of you, Skeeter Green. But I mean, it is also just like, honestly, this is just about me hanging out with you and Zach. I happen to be
Yeah.
drawing a map as we go. If we talk about it, that's cool. Otherwise, honestly, talking about this other stuff, I'm okay with that too.
So what is the intricacy difference between this map and like Lost City of Gaxmore? You did that one too.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
this more involved, less involved, do you think?
This is more involved, but Gaxmore had this wild card aspect to it. Gaxmore was a much simpler map in many ways. When this map was halfway done, Skeet, Noble Dwarf actually counted every single building, and it was like 1,700.
Jesus.
Yeah, and we're probably hitting closer to 5,000 buildings on this map right now. So from an intricacy level, from a detail level, the fact that I've had to draw Edwardian style roofs or Georgian style roofs, this map has been, even just drawing that palace was 2 hours because it was based off a real life building, which is incredible structure. So I copied this. I'm trying to imagine the whole roof and everything of this building from side shots. So this is definitely way more technical, way more detailed. The last map I did of this level was actually Techumel for Jeff D.
Right.
This is on that sort of caliber. But Gaxmore, while it was technically more straightforward, and there's a lot of detail in it, but it's a lesser level of detail, a lesser volume of detail, I should say. Gaxmore was a pre-existing map. Gaxmore had cannon. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So
right,
that
right.
introduces something else altogether. It's like I can't just go off and do my own thing. I can't just decide that I'm going to draw XYZ or this particular shape or it's not on a hill anymore or I'm going to move the swamp. No. There's a version from 20 years ago that kind of clearly defines all of that. So, and I love this challenge, by the way. It's like taking someone else's work but making it my own. Sticking
Right.
with canon, but
Right.
it doesn't look like exactly the same map. That was a really interesting challenge right there, and that made Gaxmore a lot of fun, to be honest with you.
Yeah, that's a lot of what we've done over the years being a developer. Is you take somebody's manuscript and then you look at it and go, "Oh, you know what would make this even better is if we did this little bitty thing right here." And staying true to the author's original intent, but embellishing it, if it's appropriate. So yeah, I totally get that, what you're doing with the map, because that's what I did for years for Frog God and Necromancer.
Right. I mean, it's got to be yours, right? It's got to.
Right.
This is a Skeeter Green piece here, but you got a manuscript. You can't just throw it all out. Hopefully, you're not getting
Right.
to that sort of point. So yeah, I think that's always a challenge.
Well, and that was the wonderful thing about Crypt of the Science Wizard for giving Glenn Seal, who did my background here, art notes. Well, it was very basic, and he just made my idea wonderful in a way that I would have never. I mean, my art notes consisted of make it like Tomb of Horrors, and this is what he gave me, and I just love it. It was great.
He did a really good job of that, and it does look like Tomb of Horrors. It has that same pulse to it. I will be honest with you. We were talking about this on one of the other streams once. It's like how much guidance do you get, and sometimes we get even no guidance, or we get a preponderance of too much guidance. I mean, I've lost count of the number of times I've been given an entire manuscript and said, read that. and I've got to hack through
Yeah.
57 pages and it hasn't even got to anything that can be mapped yet. I think there was a
Right.
sweet point, you
Yeah.
know, and where you can
Well,
give the artist just enough to go off. You give them a framework, what you're trying to shoot for, then let them go.
and usually when I first give somebody that I haven't worked with art notes, I flat out ask them, I don't know how much detail you want. I am going to give you little bits and pieces because I want you to interpret this is the base information, but I don't want to tell you what to draw or paint or anything like that. If you want more details, let me know. Here is a few details. And Wonky, Keelan Halverson, I did that for him. We're doing some new black and white artwork for the DCC version
Keelan's
of
great.
Crypt.
I've actually been, honestly, in the last 6 months, I've been really surprised by some of the new talent beginning to creep up. Alla included, even though she doesn't have
Paul is
the
great too, and she will never admit it.
right.
Alla
She's
is
incredible.
also going to be in Crypt of the Science Wizard because she is
Nice.
going to do the art for a brand new encounter that is being written by a surprise author. So,
Me? No, I'm kidding.
yeah, no, it could be. It could
No,
be.
it won't because I haven't written. I haven't written a word in anger since Death and Taxes.
Yeah.
That's
But
not
no,
true.
I
There were a
had
couple
an
things, but
I had an artist that I'm hoping to bring in on the DCC version of Crypt as the super secret artist to do one panel. Um, and it was weird going back to that art note thing of how much detail do you give. I ended up taking pictures of things and be like, okay, this is kind of what I'm I had a specific vision in mind, so I gave way more detail than I normally do. Um, so we'll see.
it's really hard. One of the things that I find that we have such a strange life, Skeeter Green, where publishing has been our life for so long that there are skill sets involved that are unique, and there's so many of them. And one of them is how to work with creative people who you
Yeah.
want them to do their creative bit, but you don't want to overwhelm them. Like that is a really fine line because you can lose the best creations by overdoing it, but you can also lose like what you need easily by underdoing it, and that's why we have Casey Christopherson, not me.
Well,
Well,
I had a discussion with Ian McGarty of Silver Bullets where I was telling him I was giving out um, sub work to people for like layout and certain things and proofing, and he's like, just do that shit yourself, save the money. And I'm like, I can't. Am I not showing off that there are a number of things that I cannot do well?
I was there for
um,
Skeeter's first and last InDesign lesson.
yeah, that was
Now,
awful.
it was about 12.
InDesign is the difficult tool, man. That is not easy.
It is easy if you have your ambitions are really really specific and you know what they are. What's hard about InDesign, in my opinion, is that you can do so much, and as you learn how to do it, you will do it in a way that, like, you know how one piece of glitter could be interesting and cool, but a entire bomb of glitter becomes a giant pain in the ass. Your ideas on InDesign when you don't know the tool or you don't know much about design can make it really hard to make something nice. I found InDesign to be fairly intuitive, but I think sadly this is going to age me now because I used PageMaker 1.0 in high school.
I remember PageMaker.
Hey,
But
I
the
mean,
concepts were the same, and I can remember that. And once you knew a few things you could use in design, but to do it well to a way that you want to publish product, hire people. That is all I can say. I
there
did
are
it
so
myself, and
many there are so many people more talented at that than me. I mean, Liz Stewart was who did my initial layout. uh, Rocky Gardner, Susie Mosby, guy named Chuck Wright.
yeah, I never heard of that guy.
He has some familiarity.
No,
All these people can do it so much better
and
and
faster,
faster than me.
and that's
Uh,
really the key.
yeah, there's
The
no
key is
reason for me to
faster,
do
and
it.
one thing they have that as a designer and then a writer and designer, you're so in love with things of your own sometimes that you can't see the big picture. And layout is a place a lot of times where you don't hire a layout artist to make your words better. They just do it, and you're not
Right.
capable of doing so because you think they speak for themselves, but the page speaks for your words too. And it's not something you like learn just by. I mean, they may learn it in school. I don't know, but but I don't. I never was able to learn that itself. I tried very hard to make that happen in Whisper and Venom and Death and Taxes, but you know what? I look back at those, and I'm never releasing those again. Except for
But
the
you
map,
are.
because well, Whisper and Venom's coming out of the words, and the map's going to be there still. And for Alyssa, that map gets to go twice, but she only got paid once.
So actually, so I've got a question for both of you because Skeeter, you mentioned adding a whole new encounter to Crypt of the Science Wizard, and Zach, you're relaunching Whisper and Venom. What's going on, guys? Tell me about this.
Zach, go ahead.
Well, Whisper and Venom it was never in 5e, and Necromancer Games we wanted to do some few things that were different than our normal Frog God Lost Land stuff, and I'm real proud of Whisper and Venom. I think it still holds up as a good written piece. I think that Edwin Nagy, who worked with me on that and worked with me on Death and Taxes, we want to see it in 5e, and we're not going to fundamentally change it much. We're not going to add much to it. I think we might add the small modules in there as a package in one book. No box set, but we will have the poster map and all those other things. And so I think that it was kind of like the time to do it in 5e. And I don't know. For a change, I like seeing myself as an author again, though I don't plan on changing much. I might add an encounter. I've been thinking a lot about it. But I was going to write it on my way to Guam, but then Frog God blew up while I was gone. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
When I started doing Crypt of the Science Wizard with SGP, the whole underlying vibe of the company is those old, like late 60s and early 70s sci-fi paperback books, those covers that always had those weird kind of ephemeral art
Like
pieces.
Elric stuff.
Yeah, like the Elric and all of the Frazetta art, the color art from those pulp sci-fi books. That's what I wanted to capture, and I released it under Swords and Wizardry and Fifth Edition because that's what I was familiar with, and I knew I could write for it. And I was slow to the realization that Dungeon Crawl Classics and Mutant Crawl Classics are a game mechanic system that is absolutely perfect for the
They are.
vibe that I was going for. And the fan base has that kind of innately baked into it. And I was thinking about doing it. I talked with Tim DeShane, and he was like, hell yeah. So Tim is doing the conversion to DCC rules when he gets done with his zine that he was doing, because he had a very successful Kickstarter for his zine. And yeah, we're just gonna change a couple of things around. I have a guest author writing an initial encounter that he did kind of the outline with me last week, and I was just like, this is so amazing, this fits perfectly into the backstory. So I'm super excited to hear it, and I'm really excited to see it. Should be a blast.
That's really cool,
What
man.
what I think is
Yeah.
funny is we're both still working on our first like projects, and we'll keep on reworking them because. And I watch Matt Finch write 12 to 15 things in a month when he's inclined. They're all different, and his whole attitude towards it is like that of a talented person.
Yeah. Yeah, fucker.
But
Yeah.
but I'm. It's funny, but I really do. I put a lot of work into Whisper and Venom when I did it, and it's because I love it. And I know you do the same with Science Wizard. Science Wizard, I love. It reminds me so much of Tower of the Elephant in the Field to me from the Conan book. I just has the same kind of like grotesque sciencey like just and it was cool because I don't think you intended that. It just got that kind of organically. I think it's awesome.
Well, it's been really exciting to play it at conventions and see people try to figure things out. It's much more of an investigation than it is, hack and slash.
Oh, because you may have been a Call of Cthulhu fan. Is one.
Maybe that might have something to do with it. I was always a huge fan of Tomb of Horrors, and It's been argued and said for years and years that that was Gary's middle finger to players. Hey, you aren't good enough to figure this out. And I kind of took some of that. Plus, I put in Jen, Northwest Jen, Devilette, my lovely wife. Uh, she is relatively new to gaming. So one of the things that she was quick to pick up on were the tropes in RPGs. And she would constantly give me these little ideas and tips. Hey, why don't you put in this trope but change it so people who think they know what's going to happen, it has a completely different action. And I use that in a number of places and it has completely screwed people up.
Well, and that's the
It's
best part, I think,
wonderful.
about the growth in RPGs and the people who are playing them. I mean, that's the part that's so great that, and this is what people they crap on Critical Role and stuff all the time, but we have a whole new base of players, and they're playing it differently. And what we're seeing is things like you're talking about, because you wouldn't have thought of those on your own. We all grew up
Right.
doing the same kind of thing. Our influences are similar, and now we're seeing so many different options that come from different play styles and different expectations. It makes our hobby different and better. I think. I mean, some people don't like it to change, but you can still play it just like you did in the '70s, and no one's going to stop you. But
Right.
new stuff is cool, and new
No,
people writing stuff and art and doing anything else is cool. All the Keelands of the world are making it better. All the Northwest Gens of the world are making it better. For my fears, my mom will make it better.
well, that's one of the things that really gets under my skin is the people who complain about, and we'll take Critical Role as the easy target. People are so angry that, oh, voice actors and people who are famous, Joe Manganiello, he's ruining the game. And it's
He's
like,
awesome.
are you serious? These are people that are opening up a closeted hobby that people used to get beat up for enjoying, and they're making it mainstream and giving it to people who probably have heard about it but had some bad connotation to it, and now they're enjoying it. I mean, Jen is playing games, and because she is kind of a detective type personality, she loves Call of Cthulhu. She loves being in those games because it's not about mechanics. It's about interpreting clues. And when people like that get to play a game and enjoy it, it makes it better for everybody. If you want to play if you want to play with two dice, theater of the mind, and use bottle caps to represent your characters, stay in your fucking basement and enjoy that. And I'm not trying to be shitty about the stereotype of being in a basement, but you play your game. But you better fucking let people play their game too.
And again, vice versa. I think there's nothing wrong with respecting the roots of the hobby, because
No,
I think one of the things that tends to happen is you have a whole new bunch of people come in, and sometimes they will judge people who were there in the hobby before. Nobody should do that. Either way, honestly, the more people playing games and having fun together and socializing, the less people who decide that a good option for their lifestyle is heroin, or or anything. I mean, honestly, my life has improved 2,000% since the day I wrote Whisper of Venom, because I
yeah,
was just bored and lost. I would work for the government, which is a soulless nightmare. I taught high school, equally soulless. And I found my people. And I was lucky enough to get in a place where I could be paid a living wage, more so, in RPGs professionally. But all that happened because I found my people. And my
yeah.
people are awesome. And I want everybody to become my people. I don't care who you are, who you voted for, what you did, what you dressed like, how you define yourself. Do you like do you hate elves for the right reasons? Then you're in. Do you love elves for the right reasons? Then you're in. What do you think about tieflings? My personal opinion shouldn't matter. You're still in. So if
Well, and that was the thing at the last Gary Con I was physically at. We set up the Mouth of Doom 3D printed table out in the hallway outside of the wargaming hall. And I stayed up all night. I built part of the Mouth of Doom, and I got to spend some time with the people in the wargaming hall where they have these huge, elaborate dioramas. and they have this gigantic sand table. I mean, it's the biggest cat box you've ever seen in your life with all of this miniatures
It's
and
Gary's sand
terrains.
table.
Yeah, and it was fantastic. And there are some people that is all they do. I mean, from morning to night, they're in that hall doing recreation war games. And if that's what you're into, you play the shit out of that.
No, and you know what's great about those is they make them so you can experience the hobby as it was. And
Yeah,
I've played in most of those. My goal at Gary Cons when I first went was to try all those games. And I played in the Bronstein games with Dave Weasley, and I played in the Sand Table game with Paul Stromberg on Chainmail. I learned why Chainmail is still not beloved. I learned that, why I played it. And I played lots of games that were like the history of D&D and some of the stuff that was kind of at the same time, like Dom Patrol. And
yeah,
you know what? They were fun, and I was glad to have played them in the way they were kind of meant to be played then. And although it's not my thing, I'm glad I did. I played Don't Go Up the Ship with the Player's Handbook out of my car.
my
And you know what? It wasn't for me, but if I didn't have the greatest time ever while I played it, it was just awesome. I played next
Yeah.
to Marshall Rehuron, and poor Marshall, he got the crappiest job ever. He was the patrol ship. It never went anywhere. And we did
Oh,
4
man.
hours.
Yeah.
But you know what? It was super fun to do it. I got to meet Mike Carr. I sat next to who's the guy who was in both campaigns? He was in both in Arneson and Gygax's, Michael Bernard. He sat down right next to me. He talked about what it was like to play then. I don't always agree with Mike Bernard at all. In fact, he's very strongly opinionated in a different way than we are here. But you know what? His perspective was interesting because he's got one that's got quite a pedigree, and he was friendly about it in a way that sometimes he's not online. And I find that these kind of interactions like we're doing now, and I think virtual cons, will do a lot to take away some of the edge off the hobby that we've had in the last 3 or 4 years where everybody kind of has a camp and they hate each other like it's fucking politics. It's not. It's a hobby, and we love each other, and we should. And we should call out bad characters, but there aren't that many of them. Okay, I'm going to say it right now. Teagle Manor, the guy who owned that guy's a bad character. Judges Guild, they're bad. But that's about it. I mean, honestly, most people, when they're face to face, learn how to interact in ways we can get.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen a fight in GaryCon, like a fist fight?
No, the only
One
honestly
that
the
you
only
weren't in, Skeeter. Someone else.
honestly, the only time I have even heard of an actual fist fight at a con, and I'm sure there are some that I didn't hear about, was at GaryCon, or not at GaryCon, at Gen Con. And that was not even in the con, that was at a bar outside the
you're talking about,
convention. And it was the sucker punch because
because of
some
reason.
far right person wanted to hit some far left person, which was all stupid and pointless. But
And
that is literally the
irrelevant.
only time I have seen an actual fight. I mean, Alyssa was with me and Jack and Ian and a whole group of people where we got somebody removed from Gamehole
Yeah.
because it had to be
Paw Patrol.
explained to me what that was all about.
Well, no,
We-
it's what happened.
it was super easy.
Alex and them too. And the thing was, had he just showed up as a regular person, nobody would care. But he decided to come up as an asshole. You remove him, but you don't kick his ass, and then you still have a clean and nice place. And you know what? I like our hobby. I like it a lot, and that's why we got so mad over the last few
Josh
years.
Hoyt handled that like a professional,
Yeah, he did.
and there was no big issue, and it was done. People just need to get over their bullshit.
Yeah, and I agree. And I think we can be better in a lot of ways. Yes, we can. But you know what? We don't have to say we're terrible in the process of getting better. And that's
Right.
what makes me the most angry is like, well, you're all just, whatever. But what we all are is gamers, and we're trying to get along. So rather than tell us how horrible people we are, maybe, a little bit of help, a little bit of a nudge, and then let's play games. When you play games together, we get along together. And that, honestly, I wish that our country would all play games together. We would get along better too.
Amen to that. Okay, and
I
we're
believe that.
going to end the stream right there. Preach it, Zach.
Good job,
So
Zach.
who do we have removed? You had the guy in the Thought Patrol car.
Yeah, that was him. But I learned something that day. I learned what that meant and what a deplorable term it is.
Yeah. Well, it is a horrible term, but you're kind of a Twitch thought, though, Alyssa.
Hey, now! No.
Jackson. Jack goes,
I am going to
Oh,
quietly
yeah,
try
that's
to
cool.
disappear from the stream now after
That's a good
Zach
idea.
dropped that cat turd. Yeah, no, I mean, there's definitely that was actually something that I wanted to ask Alyssa, but I think we're going to need to bring her on. Goddamn it, Zach, and ask her. Um, I had to ask Jen how women were legitimately treated at game conventions, and she told me, yeah, pretty terrible. And I'm like, what? When did that happen? And that's something that I want to have like Alyssa or Liz Stewart on for their perception of how good or bad people are at conventions. I mean,
And
you get a large group of people together.
you're gonna have
There's
assholes.
going to be some shit boxes,
So I always felt
but
that there's worse behavior when I would go to government conventions between men and women than anywhere near what I see at game conventions. I mean, in a professional scene, it was bad. Like I know I was in the Navy. You know how bad that was. So I think that we can do better, and we certainly should. But I think that focusing on the
well,
bad
you
things we
shut
do.
up now and let Alyssa answer.
No,
Well, I don't know if you want me to answer now. If you want me, well, actually,
that's what I was thinking too.
I almost feel like you could have 2 or 3 women on. God damn it, Zach,
Yeah,
and get
that's what
some,
I want to do.
play on opinions. I gotta be honest with you. Part of yeah. I mean, look, it can get pretty shitty at times. Yes, not to play to the trope, so to speak. I've had a guy put his hand on my boob before now. But I'm kind of ignorant in a lot of ways. Like I'm oblivious. Okay, I'm an oblivious nerd. Like, and I'll walk away from a conversation with a guy, and Jack will be, he was totally hitting on you, and I'll be, was he?
Yeah.
And that I think saves me from a lot of embarrassment and a lot of the shitty behaviors because my sensitivity. I'm not a very sensitive person. I'm also a pretty oblivious person, and I just want people to be happy and shit. I just want walk away from me the feeling better in the world. So I tend to have a slightly different perspective. I mean, I am a wargamer. I am one of those people, Skeeter, that
Right.
sets up the dioramas and has 20,000 Napoleonic miniatures. It also means that I hang out in a predominantly male-orientated world, and I have done since I've been 11 or 12 years of age. So it's given me. I mean, I'm a little bit more of a tomboy in some respects, and it's
I
given
don't
me.
believe it.
I don't want to say a thicker skin. That implies a thin skin on the flip side, and that's not what I mean. But it's given me an almost immunity, a resistance, I suppose, using D&D terms. I have resistance to arsehole. So you've got to be a real arsehole with me for me to even pick up on it.
So Jen was telling me, so a couple of years ago, there were a lot of incidents about sexual harassment running rampant through RPGs. And Jen and I were talking about it because I honestly, I have had games where women were my players. I've never had any kind of issues or incidents. And she kind of sat me down and told me that, like in women's bathrooms, they have posters about human trafficking, and go find somebody and tell them what is happening to you in these public places. And I was like, you got to be shitting me.
All I
I
find
have
after
no idea this whole uh women's world stuff is happening. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Because I don't even see it. I mean, I don't see guys being shitty to women,
you call them
unless
out,
they
you miss
kind of
it.
ask for it and pull their pants down in front of me and I take a Sharpie and write somebody's name on their butt.
Yeah.
But that was not me taking advantage of them. That was somebody literally taking their clothes off in front of me.
Sorry about that.
And yeah, you need to dial that shit up. But I guess it does happen because I've told this story a bunch of times and Zach always gets uncomfortable. I was at a convention where some dude came in and watched me pee.
It wasn't me.
It was not. But yeah, I mean,
No, I was there right after it happened, and he reported to me right live as it went.
yeah.
And
because I knew who it was, and it was just like, did that just fucking happen?
It did.
How weird was that? But no, that I mean, I don't know if things are getting better, if they're staying the same. I don't know if women are more, and I should change that. I don't know if non-males are getting more or less respect in RPGs.
I hope
I
more.
yeah, I hope so too.
I think more. I think more. But it
I
hasn't
also
gone
think
away.
Oh
I,
no, no, no. And
I,
it'll never go away.
no, no.
A
And I
hundred
think we're a
percent.
little bit more aware of it now. I want to say it gets called out more. Right? I mean,
yeah,
if you
Good.
look back at us in the 70s or 80s, I mean, it
yeah.
was a different world. So
Well,
we've
look at the
definitely
'70s was a
moved
different world as
forward.
it was, right?
It was ridiculous, right? It's
I
two
do
different
think
worlds altogether. But if you look at it now, like, you get someone behaving inappropriately, that shit gets called out. So I want to say
it
that's
does, and I
better.
think it's going to get better with virtual things as we do it more often. Because you know what, the you still have the like the intimacy of speaking, but without the proximity, I think you'll find a lot of those things will go away. And I
I
think
hope so.
that knowing there everybody in the stream can see it, you can't have that stuff really happen. If they're private typing it, it stays in a chat log you can save. You know, I think that in a way this will be good for us because if you're conditioned to the way you behave on virtual streams, you'll play in a real game that way too. I think, and I also think that these kinds of things happening because right now are horrible outside my house. My house is great. Everything here is great. My wife's making cassoulet. How bad could life be, right? But outside is terrible. One good thing that's going to come from all this is we're going to be better people, I think, with people we deal with. I really do. And
Well,
so
and
I'm hopeful.
there are some absolute like vanguards for this stuff. And I think that ties into like you're saying, the streaming and the virtual stuff. Like Deborah Wool actually runs games and is a fantastic game
I
master.
saw her do it live. It was great.
She can weave a story uh as good, if not better, than 90% of the males I've seen ever run a game.
She's awesome.
And it's engaging. Satine Phoenix is another one. When she is playing or running a game, amazing.
She is.
Um,
She wants her own
and
tattoo gun too. I saw today.
yeah, I saw that. And Satine, if you happen to be watching and you need to practice, I'll fly down and get some tattoos from you.
Jim will too.
If Satine Phoenix is watching this channel, then I've suddenly become a completely different stream because I think there'd be 50,000 people in here.
Yeah. No, she's I got to
What do
play
you say about us?
yeah, we suck.
Well, you know
Is what she's
Satine.
saying. No, I got to play
You
in a
need the
game with
ears.
Satine and Rudy when Alex Kammer was running a game, and Mike Merles was in there, and Chris Lindsay, and I forget who else because I was starstruck because I couldn't figure out why I was holding up the bottom rung of that game. But it was amazing. And it was at GaryCon.
Or Game Watch?
So, yeah, that rando ass story did actually tie back to GaryCon somehow. It's like a snake pit in my brain. There's not a straight line from one concept to another. Oh,
Well, guys, this would be normally actually about the point where I would end the stream. We've been going for about an hour and a half. I feel like we could probably talk all bloody day easily. I've actually finished the ink work on this thing. I'm going to get onto colouring tomorrow night, I think, with this bad boy.
sweet.
So
Sweet.
this is like a perfect time to end this stream for Sunday. I mean, I've got
That was
nothing
the
more I wanna do.
sweetest way to say
Dude, get
you're
rid of
sick
us
of
I've
our
ever
shit.
seen. Yes.
I'm
Like,
done
we're
mapping. End
boring
stream.
this
Get
channel
out.
to death. And yes, we were, and we're sorry.
Phantom Jet, I would do that. There was actually going to be an opportunity at some point for me to play with some peeps. So maybe in the future, who knows?
That would be fantastic.
I
I'll
would
tune
watch
in
it be
for
great.
that.
I would love to do it. I really would. But I'm sure a lot of people fall into that category of I would love to do it. Of course we would.
I don't. And I love those guys, but I don't. So.
Yeah, I mean, I can only be the low rung on so many shows. I mean, I don't need to drag down Critical Role's numbers.
My stream, this is hysterical because on my Zoom screen, you are the lower rung of this show. I
Yeah,
have Alyssa and me on the top row, and then you below by yourself.
yeah. No, I
The
am.
irony.
I
Alyssa, I'm
am.
really grateful you had us on the show because
Yes, thank you
No,
so
you guys
much. This
rock.
has been wonderful.
You know I love you to death. We don't get to hang out that much, particularly this year. So the fact that you even wanted to come on means a hell of a lot
Oh,
to me. And you're
yeah.
so
we'll be here
entertaining.
tomorrow. No.
I'll get back.
Yeah,
You act
shit.
like
I
you think
mean,
it's a good idea, but it's not.
it's 12:30. I'm gonna be at your house by dinner time.
I'll get Jack
Social
to cook
distancing.
something.
Jack, don't let him in.
Yep. Jack, don't let me in.
Guys, you're wonderful. What a great way to end this. And for everyone that's watching, this has been Zach and Skeeter while I draw squiggly lines in the background. And I'm done drawing squiggly lines on this map. I'm going to be back tomorrow night and Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday, I think. And we're going to start colouring this bad boy. It's going to take a while, I think. Maybe all of the rest of the month, I think. And then after this map, because some people have asked, we're actually going to move on to Necropolis for Frog God Games. And that will be a little bit like a mini Teagle, but Egyptian. So that's going to be a real kicker right there. Guys, thank you so much.
Thank you, Alyssa.
Thank you, Alyssa.
And thank you, audience. You've been absolutely fantastic.